Good morning, everyone. So, actually, we were doing multi-threading. Yesterday, we have started with multi-threading, and now we'll continue with those things. Multi-threading, right? Fine. So, let me share my screen. Yes. Am I visible properly and audible, right? Okay, fine. So, let me revise something little bit very fast. In multi-threading, what is the purpose of multi-threading? That to fork a sub process or to generate a sub process, which is smallest unit of process. Okay, and through that we can assign different tasks. And there are two ways: process based and thread based. So we'll be learning thread based multitasking. Process based we are not learning right now. So in one process there might be multiple threads, and some of the keywords and as well as methods that we are going to see. Now these are the steps, life cycle of multi-threading. Very important: new, runnable, running, non-runnable, terminated. So at the starting it will be new. Then once we start it, it will be known as a runnable, but not yet a running state, because scheduler has not picked up that thread for execution. Once it picks the thread for execution, it comes into running state, and then it terminates. While running, scheduler or based on our logic, we can also put that thread in sleep, block, lock, suspend, wait, this kind of thing. Sleep done, input of complete, lock, or like that. Now these are the states, different states. Thread. These are the constructors. These are the predefined constructors. Thread, then a thread with string name, thread runnable R interface, then thread interface and string name. Okay, there are two ways we can start a threading. That is first extending a thread class. You see this example. One class is a multi. Yesterday we tried this extending thread class, and with this run method, we can say thread is running. Okay, and then public static void main string args multi t1 is equal to new multi t1 dot start. Okay, this is how you can start the thread. Second way is implementing runnable interface. With this class implements runnable interface. What happens here? You see, run method is there, then main method. This we are making object of this class multi3. M1 is equal to new multi3, and then thread T1 is equal to new thread, and then putting this M1 into this here thread. Okay, so that we can consider this object as a thread, as a new thread. Okay, then we can say T1 dot start. Okay, if we are not extending thread, then now so if we don't extend this thread, you see, if we don't extend the thread, and if we just run this method, it will be like simple method execution using object. It's a simple method execution using object. Okay, it won't make any difference. But if you are extending thread class and then if you do like this t1 dot start, that means it is making one thread. Thread scheduler in Java. So this what is scheduler actually? Uh, Scheduler means there are two types of scheduler: preemptive and slicing. Preemptive means highest priority task. I think you are studying operating system, so you know preemptive, scheduler, and time slicing. So preemptive mostly by default this from executing multi-threading, we have preemptive scheduler. Based on priority it will execute, but we can also put time, but we can also put time over here. Okay, and then different sleep methods in Java. So one sleep method that puts our thread in sleep for 500 milliseconds. Actually 5000 milliseconds, that means 5 seconds, right? So yesterday also we have seen this. And yeah, we cannot start thread twice. If we start thread twice, it will throw some exception. Okay, if we directly call the run method, it's like a regular run method. We are calling from one stack only. Join method is for what? Join method is that it will wait for that thread to die. Okay. So here the join method waits for the thread to die. Okay. So it causes the currently running threads to stop executing until the thread it joins the complete its task. Whatever currently running thread is there. Okay. Currently running thread is there. And if we t1 dot join, if we do like this, that means what? We are waiting to die. Okay. And then another thread starts. Now let's come here. This get name, set name, get ID method. What are these methods actually? Now you see, this is one of the thread example. Okay. And here, uh, if we want to take a name of that thread, we can execute this method t1 dot get name, t2 dot get name. Okay. And then ID also. And we can also set some name. Anyway, let's execute this example. Let's execute this example. Extends thread, and here running. Let me just copy paste this simple thing here. Okay. And inside this main method, new class. Now you see P1 thread, P2 thread, uh, T1 dot get name, T2 dot get name, T1 dot get ID. Anyway, let's see how it works out. And then T1 dot start. Oh no. T2 dot start. Okay. T1 dot set name. So how this happens, we are going to see here. Let me set my name here. And here. Okay, let's see what happens. Execution comes here, public static void main. It makes object of T1, object of T2, then prints all this thing. Then we are going to start thread T1 dot start, T2 dot start. Okay, and then this thread will execute. T1 dot start means what? It will execute this thread and it will print running. Then T2 dot start, it will execute the thread and it will print running. And then we are setting up the thread one name as a Harsh Mehta my name, and we can get the name. Yeah, what prints here? What actually prints here? That we need to see. That we need to see. Give me Control S. Let's run this. Now you see what's the name. By default, the name of thread 1 is thread 0, thread 1. Then ID of thread T1 is 10. Now the question is how come this is giving ID? So it's an internal structure. The way internal code is written, they are providing ID some randomly. And then we are just changing thread 1 name to Harsh Mehta, my name. I hope everyone is getting about changing the name. Just in case any doubt, write down chat box. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think the same output. You see, in this program, they have written ID as a 8. Okay. Okay. So current thread method. What is current thread method? Current thread method returns a reference to the currently executing thread object. Current thread method returns a reference to the currently executing thread object. Okay. Whatever a currently executing thread is there, current thread method will return a reference to it. So here's a syntax. We need to execute this in a different way. Okay. So let me just copy paste all these things in ID. Okay, now okay, I think it's stuck or what? Now it's working. Right. Now you see here, instead of running, which thread is running? Which thread is running? It will return which thread is running and its name. Current thread and its name. Okay. Let me remove these lines. I don't want to change the name. Okay, now let me run. It didn't print anything. Okay, integer A. Yes, you see. So current thread means whatever thread currently is running, it will return those kind of data. The thread which is running, it will return those kind of data. Okay. Thread 0, thread 1. So T1 dot start means what? This thread will be executing, and this thread dot current thread dot get name, it will get the current thread name. Okay, it chooses the current thread. Which one is current thread? T1. T2 dot start, it chooses the current thread, that is T2, and the get name. Okay, naming thread and current thread. Okay, naming thread. What is this naming thread? So yeah, everyone in chat box, write down. Are you getting or not? Are you understanding or not? Yes, because sometimes what happens, I keep speaking here, and you might not getting my voice. That kind of thing may happen. That's why. The thread class provides method to change the and the get the name of a thread. By default, each thread has a name, that is thread 0, thread 1, and so on. So by default, each thread has a name, that is thread 0, thread 1, and so on. By we can change the name of thread by using set name method, right? Using this set name method, we can change the name. The syntax of set name and get name method are given below. You see, get name is what is used to return the name of a thread. Set name is for what is used to change the name of a thread. I think we have seen this example. And current thread method is for what returns a reference of currently executing thread. Whatever currently executing thread is there will return a reference of currently executing thread. Okay. Now priority, very important topic. What is priority of thread? Each thread have priority. Priorities are represented by number between 1 to 10. Okay, we need to present priority between 1 to 10. In most cases, thread scheduler schedules a thread according to their priority. Okay, so it's a preemptive scheduling based on the priority. It's a preemptive scheduling. It's not guaranteed because it depends on JVM specification that which scheduling it chooses. Okay, anyway, but now you see we'll not concentrate on these lines, but we'll directly see how it handles the priority. So three constant defined in thread class. Total three constants are there. One is a minimum priority, second is a normal priority, third is a maximum priority. Okay, so default priority of thread is 5. You need to remember, default priority of thread is actually 5. The value of minimum priority is 1 and maximum priority is 10. Now this constant means what? You see, how do we define constant? Using this value: public static integer norm priority, static integer max priority. That means the value is already defined. We are not supposed to change any value. We are not supposed to change any value. Okay. Now, example of priority of a thread. Okay, let's execute this example. Very important. Inside this run method, let me put these two lines. Now this new class M1, M2, M1 dot set priority thread. M1 is a one thread, you see, and then we are setting the priority minimum priority. M1, M2 dot set priority. Now you see for M2 thread, we are setting priority at maximum priority. Now, if we start this M1 dot start and M2 dot start, let's see what happens. Which thread runs? Control S. Oh, not debug. Cancel. I want to run this. Okay, now you see. Once we start thread 1, okay, M1 to, dot start, M2 dot start. Okay. So a running thread is current thread and get name. So current thread which is running is M2 thread. Why? Because its priority is highest. So once we start threading, M1 dot start, M2 dot start. Okay, it checks which has a highest priority, which has a highest priority. M2 has highest priority, and that's why we are getting the priority. Then thread 0, it also checks the thread 0 priority and its priority is 1, so it takes later on. It runs it later on. Okay, thread 1 is 10, thread 0 1, like this. Okay, fine. So fine. So this was the priority. Now daemon thread in Java. What is daemon? Daemon means in English, if you consider daemon keyword, that means you cannot see, which works in background. Okay, invisible something which you cannot see, but it's there. It's working. This kind of meaning it should be there. Now daemon thread in Java means what? It's is a service provider thread that provides service to the user thread. So user thread means what? This user thread. M1 is a user thread. M2 is a user thread. Its life depends on the mercy of user threads. That is, when all the user threads die, JVM terminates this thread automatically. So daemon thread is for what? To serve the user thread. M1, M2, these are user threads. To serve M1, M2 user threads, we have daemon thread. There are many Java daemon threads running automatically, like garbage collector finalizer. These are the daemon threads. Okay, we can see all detail by typing JConsole in the command prompt, and the JConsole tool provides information about the loaded class, memory user, and running threads. Okay, now JConsole actually doesn't work here. Let me just write. It doesn't work here like this. Okay, there are different ways to see the daemon thread, but right now we are not seeing those three things. Okay, what are the points to remember? Daemon thread in Java, it provides service to user thread for background supporting tasks. It has no role in life than to serve user threads. Its life depends upon user threads. It is a low priority thread. Okay, its life depends upon user thread and it's a low priority thread. Okay, so the question is, why JVM terminates a daemon thread if there is no user thread? The sole purpose of daemon thread is that it provides service to user thread for background supporting tasks. If there is no user thread, why should JVM keep running this thread? That is why JVM terminates a terminates the daemon thread. No need to keep running those daemon thread. Okay, there is no need. For daemon thread, these are the methods, two methods actually, public void set daemon and is daemon. Okay, let's see the example. So daemon thread, uh, Let's run this public void run. If, let me just copy, paste, Control C. Okay, set the run method, and then M1, once again M. So we are setting M1 thread as a daemon thread, M1. And then we are starting all the threads, M1 dot start, M2 dot start, and M3 dot start. Okay. Now you see what happens here. Three objects M1, M2, M3. Then M1 dot set daemon true. That means what? M1 thread, we are setting M1 thread as a daemon thread. That means it's a background thread. Okay. So its priority is always low. Priority is always low compared to other thread. Okay. So compared to M2 and M3 thread, priority is always low. Fine. So thread dot current thread is daemon. So it will check. So first M2 and M3 will run. It will print user thread work, and M1, as soon as M1 thread starts, it daemon thread works like this, it prints. Okay, now you see, first M1 thread starts, so it's a daemon thread, yeah, so it will print daemon thread, and then M2 and M3, for that it prints user thread works. Okay. Fine. So this was the this is how you can set a daemon thread. Okay. Now there is a note. If you want to make a user thread as a daemon, it must not be started, otherwise it will throw illegal thread state exception. So if we make user thread as a daemon thread, it must not be started, otherwise it will throw illegal thread state exception. So if user thread has been started and if we are setting as a daemon thread, so it will throw illegal thread state exception. Okay. Okay. Now you see, this will throw an exception. Okay, let me just copy paste these two lines. Uh, there are two threads only, and M1 dot start. Let me put this thing here. M1 dot set daemon true. Once thread starts, you cannot set it as a daemon. And then M2 dot start. M3 thread is not there. Okay, now you see the exception. Why exception? Because we are setting one daemon thread, but it has been started. Once a thread starts, we cannot set it as a daemon thread. Okay. Fine. Okay, Java thread pool. What is Java thread pool? So it's there are series of threads. Okay. Anyway, let's read this definition. Java thread pool represents group of worker threads that are waiting for the job and reuse many times. Group of worker threads that are waiting for the job and reuse many times. Okay. So in case of thread pool, a group of fixed size threads are created. A thread from the thread pool is pulled out and assigned a job by service provider. After completion of job, thread is contained in the thread pool again. Okay, it's like a pool. Let me draw here so that we can understand what is thread pool actually. So thread pool is like this. These are the different threads. These are the different threads. Now, uh, let's say I want one thread from here. So I will take this thread from here. I will use it and I'll put it back here. This is known as a thread pool. Okay. Let's say I want to use this thread. I'll pick one thread from here. I will use it. Okay. And then I'll put it back here. This is known as a simple thread pool. Okay. So consider this as a, like all the threads are there in one pool. What are the advantage of a Java thread pool? Better performance. It saves time because there is no need to create new thread. Okay, it saves time because there is no need to create new thread. Yeah, so you see, every time we are creating new thread, here. So you might be asking, sir, how come we are creating thread? As soon as we extend this thread class, that means whatever object we make, that becomes our thread. Okay, fine. And what is the real-time user used in Servlet and JSP, where container creates a thread pool to process the request? So in Servlet and JSP, it creates the thread pool. Okay, it creates the thread pool to process the request. Okay. Okay, let's see the example of Java thread pool using executor service and executor. Anyway, now you see, little bit advanced topic. Anyway, let's see first of all syllabus. The thread pool is there or not. Anyway, we'll learn this thread pool. Do not worry. Yeah, multi-threading programming, thread class, runnable interface, thread priority we have seen, synchronization yet to see, thread communication deadlock. Okay. Anyway, these only topics are there. You see, thread pool and is also there, but in exam they will ask. Very few times they ask this kind of questions. Okay. Very few times they ask this kind of questions. Okay. So yeah, let's see this example. Worker thread implements runnable. Will implement like this only. Will not change anything. Implements runnable. And then the same message or same method here, and the run method also the same run method. Let me put here, as well as this method. I think I'll what I'll do is I'll directly copy this entire code because we require two classes, not actually one class. Now, I'll explain you. Don't worry, I will explain to you. Let me just copy paste this program. We need to import executor service as well as executor. Okay, why we are doing this? We are creating thread pool. We are creating thread pool. Okay. Fine. Now this program is little bit odd in the sense, a little bit strange also. Now what happens here? Now you see execution comes directly here. Public static void main, executor service, executor. Now executor service and executor class is for what? Is for making a thread pool. Now with this method new fixed thread pool, that is 5. Total 5 threads we are creating. And then with I to 10, I is equal to 0 to 10. That means from value 0 to 10, okay, we are making this worker thread. You see worker thread here. We are making with this object worker and worker thread, object of this new worker thread class. Okay. Now we are calling execute method of executor to for this worker thread. Okay, for this worker thread. And then once it runs for after 10 times, it keeps running 10 times. For 10 times it will print some message and all these things. Okay, and it sleeps for 2 seconds. We are shutting down. If it's not shutting down, then we will if it's shut down, then we'll write finished all threads. Right click, run. Now you see first it prints all these things because it's in loop. Okay, once loop gets complete, we'll have finished all threads. Okay, so yeah, this program is a little bit odd. So it will say pool 1, thread 1 start message 0. So pool 1, thread 1. First it takes thread as a pool 1 thread 1, and then process message, it executes this process message called process message method that sleeps the thread for 2 seconds. Okay, so what is a process message method? Here is a process message method that will keep our thread sleep for 2 seconds. As soon as this first thread goes into this sleep mode, it calls another thread 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and After that, what happens? It starts uh, taking this new threads. Okay, it executes this worker, and once it's shut down, it will finish all the threads. Okay, now you are not supposed to know this. You are not supposed to know. You just know the concept. Okay, you must pick the concept and understand the concept. Other things are fine. Even if you don't know the programming of this executor and all these things, that's fine. You are not supposed to know all these things. Okay, even for thread group concept, you must know what is thread pool and thread group. Okay, what is thread group? Okay, so multiple threads we can put in a group known as a thread group. Okay, anyway, so this thread group and thread pool, what we'll do, there are a lot of things which is out of syllabus. Some things like which is out of syllabus, that will only talk, will not see examples, will not see examples. Okay, there are so many things are there. We'll see only those things, we'll not see the examples, but you must know the basics. Okay, anyway, from thread group we'll start in the next lecture. Okay, from thread group we'll start in a next lecture. Okay, everyone. Fine. Everyone write down number in chat box with your class name so that we can conclude our session. Okay, everyone has written their number. Fine. Let me stop presentation. Fine. Let me stop recording also. Thank you, everyone.